as you all know, around this time, every weekday on Tuesday, we gather around this day to try to make sense of everything that is breaking news and making fresh views. And today, it's no different. We go around all your digital platforms and all your newspaper articles to try to make sense of everything that is making news. And I'm not alone. My co-host Tony Mazubuga is here. Tony, a lot has been happening within the news cycle. Good evening and welcome to the News Desk.
Good evening, KG. Absolutely, a lot has been happening. Let's just jump story on the behind the headlines. We're taking a look at the story of 6 people who were shot dead in Qumbu in the Eastern Cape. This comes after people who shot 6 community police forum people who were actually the protectors of the community, and the police spokesperson says these people were gunned down by 8 unknown people who just came straight into them and shot them, and they're urging the community to help search for these suspects, because this is such a very gruesome incident that took place. If you remember quite well, just a week ago we were looking at people who were shot, and those people were 18, so that's a big number. And shortly after that, there's something wrong in the Eastern Cape. Shortly after that, now 6 people were shot and gunned down, dead, just like that. So the police minister is urging the community to help look for these suspects. I mean, the community has lost very important people. These are the security guards of the community. We know the work that the community police forum people do, because communities are not, I mean, police people are not always there, so they always stay taking care of people going to work in the early hours of the morning. So this is such a very so I don't know if you heard about it and what's your take on it. It left us with so much confusion as to what exactly is happening in the Eastern Cape. Where's the police department failing in stopping such incidences from happening? I don't know if you've heard about it, Kagiso. I don't know what's your take on it.
Definitely, yeah. It's been a story that has been making rounds, and looking into it, that, you know, the CPF, the people who are part of the community, saying, you know what, we can see that there is a lot that is happening within, you know, the community when it comes to safety, and we are trying to protect our people, our community. And I'm in a township, and I see these people working hard, waking up very early in the morning, especially winter times, early hours of 4 a.m. to making sure that people are going safe as they commute with public transport, you know, protecting them, keeping them safe. There's always a sound. People in the township would always relate to, you know, the sound of ivuvuzela in the early hours of the morning, because this is a sign that you know that these people are there, and these people are there to protect you. And looking at that, even the people who are trying to protect the community are the very people who are being gunned down. It raises a question about what is really happening when it comes to crime with the Eastern Cape. And the Eastern Cape has been making news rounds, especially this year. It's been the extortions, it's been the massacre that we saw happening last week, and now we are seeing this happening. There's a lot that needs to happen, and you know, definitely the Minister of Police needs to make sure that they take charge into the story.
Absolutely. So now Ngoli, the spokesperson, is urging the community that please let anyone who has information regarding the suspects please come forward and tell the police, because the suspects are still out there, they're still at large, and they might continue to kill other people. So we urge the community of the Eastern Cape, if you know anything or if you heard anything, please go forward to the police station and report this matter. I don't know, what story do you have on your side, Kagiso?
Very intriguing stories that we are tracking for you this evening on the News Desk. If you have a comment, please do make sure that you do use that comment section below there. Right. Another story that definitely has to come from the Daily Maverick. This is an article by Tasneem Telkom. This is a story about the Cosatu calling on workers to strike against rippling economic crisis. Right. As we all know, yesterday we woke up to Cosatu actually putting on a national shutdown. They're calling it a day of national action. This comes amid of you know, the nation celebrating another day ahead of its rather it's called the Day of Significant Employment. So this was definitely making sure that there is significant employment and the employment regulations are there and they are met. An article by the Daily Maverick says South Africa's large trade union federation, Cosatu, has called on non-essential workers to strike on Monday, the 7th of October, in a national day of action against the crippling economic crisis in the country. The federation was joined by affiliated trade unions, including South African Clothing and Textile Union, also the South African Commercial, Catering and Allied Union, other unions also. They were there trying to march against rather the crippling effect in the economy. Speaking about that, there's a lot of what do you call this, retrenchments? Yes, there we go, that's the word I'm looking for. Retrenchments that has been happening. We know that Pick n Pay has been retrenching lately, and there's a lot of drop within rather a high rate of unemployment, with 1.3 million people in need of jobs in our country. This definitely was a way for the Trade Federation to highlight some of these grievances that people of South Africa are looking into it. And a lot of economists were saying that this matter could have dealt with in a different matter. I don't know, what are your thoughts around this National Day of Action by Cosatu?
I mean, Cosatu does a very good job, and almost every year Cosatu is out there, you know, shouting to the government, telling them that we are sick and tired of this unemployment issue. If it's not the unemployment issue, it's the treatment that people receive, people who work in the retail sector, the money that they earn, you know, and every year. But it seems like the government is actually not listening, so, and it's quite concerning, because how many times must what must happen now, you know, because there's no change. The unemployment rate still goes up. We still see people, you know, vocalizing their concern about the work environment on social media, you know, saying things like they don't have contracts, you know, they don't earn enough money, they don't get paid well, they don't get paid on time. There's so many concerns around employment and unemployment as well. So I hope the government actually takes time to listen to the people, because these people play a huge role. Employees play a huge role, because without them, the economy will not move. It will not move at all. So you must prioritize those people, because they are very, very important in the economy. They play a very important role in the economy cycle as a whole. So I hope this time the government hears what Cosatu is voicing out here. We can't be having so many retrenchments when we are complaining about the unemployment issue. You see, now that's the reason why people do not even believe when the president gives his annual statement, statement about what's going to happen, what changes are going to happen. People have lost hope completely, and I hope the government actually does listen, because we need employees, and employees must be treated well, rather, you know, they must be well taken care of, so that they are motivated, because you're demotivating them.
Definitely employees need to be taken care of. The spokesperson of the Cosatu's national spokesperson, Zanele Sabela, says that given this high rate of unemployment, Cosatu is demanding a moratorium and on retrenchment, rather, because it does not make sense to say we have a high unemployment rate and then we are still cutting little jobs that we have. This is the national spokesperson of Cosatu speaking on, you know, reiterating remarks that you have been saying, the fact that, you know, they need to be listening to what has been happening, especially to the people of South Africans who are looking for jobs, who are seeking for jobs. I mean, there's a lot of young people who are sitting in corners there. This march was just to reiterate those demands that they were looking for. They were marching in Durban, they were marching also in Cape Town, and here in Johannesburg, they were marching to the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, where they were handing out the memorandum of demands there as they were signing off in different parts of the nation. Hopefully, the government will hear that and more. Goli, what else do you have on your side?
Hopefully. Second story on my side, Kagiso, is the case of common assault opened against a Free State teacher. A case of common assault has been opened against a Free State teacher who made national headlines after a scuffle in class with one of her pupils. The teacher is also facing charges of putting education department into dispute after the alleged assault was filmed with a cell phone. So the story, I think many people saw this video of a 14-year-old boy wrestling a female teacher. So they were arguing about the cell phone. You know how kids are with the cell phone in class. And as the teacher tried to confiscate the phone, the young man decided to wrestle the teacher, or the teacher wrestled the learner, because, you know, the story is not quite clear. But then the husband of the teacher speak to the SABC News saying that, no, I think you guys took one side, actually. My wife has been complaining about this learner, that he's rude, he's disrespectful, and eventually she lost it. But, you know, as a teacher, you must hold yourself in, because you're an adult there. You can't just, you know, go in and try to solve issues physically. But now it's a complicated case. And, you know, KG, cases like this, they worry me, because now it seems like in the classroom, the teacher doesn't feel safe, and so is the learner. You know, it's quite concerning, because it should be a safe space for those two people, for the teacher and for the learner. But things that are happening these days, we see a lot of these videos of teachers wrestling learners and learners wrestling teachers. It's quite chaotic. And I think it's time now that the Department of Education really takes measures to mitigate all of these issues, because we can't go on like this. Honestly, it's been a long time, and we've been seeing all these videos almost every year, almost every month. There's something horrible happening in class, and I hope the education department really pays attention to this, because what's coming next? Are they going to kill each other? Yes, because are they going to kill each other? You know, because you need to feel safe as a teacher. Mind you, this is an all-boys school, so the husband says, you know what, and the boys in this school are just rude and reckless, and it's well known, but now he feels like only one side of the story was taken. But we can never really tell, because, you know, the learners are saying this, other learners are saying this. So now the case is in court. Will report as the court proceed, and see what are the findings, and how does the justice system rules this case out. But I'm just urging students to respect their teachers, and teachers not to take the matters, you know, at heart. If the child is being disrespectful, whatever, I believe teachers do study psychology, right? So you must find other ways of dealing with the learner, because you'll always have rude learners. I mean, these people are 16 and their hormones are up and down. It's gonna happen. But I also urge the learners as well to respect their teachers, because we don't want to hear these stories. We've had enough of them. We've really had enough of them. And I hope the education department takes measures as well to put this to an end. I don't know what's your thought.
As you're speaking, I'm looking at the conversation that we are going to be having in a short while, as we are going to be bringing a teacher, as we're going to be sharing on the, you know, that there is a lot that is happening within the education sector. And, you know, it should not only just be focusing on, you know, getting the pass rate to what we want it to be by the end of the year, but it should also about what are we doing to safeguard the people that are in those premises, that are dealing with the that are always on the front line of this learning and teaching. You know, we need to make sure that there is adequate support and adequate resources, because I can imagine as a teacher, you wake up in the morning, you want to go and impart this education on learners, and the next thing you get assaulted by a learner. And what is it that I need to do as a teacher? And now I'm also a human being, and at the same time I also you know, react in different ways in that day. And, you know,
you
I
can't help
always maintain my cool, you know, but at the same time, you know, there needs to be ways on how we are going to make sure that, how are we preventing these? What are strategies that are put in place, especially when it comes from the government?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the education department in the Free State says the investigation is at advanced stage. So we'll report on the matter as the case unfolds. I don't know. What do you have on your side, KG?
Definitely, indeed. All right. On my side, what I have, as we shift a focus on a little bit of business now, We are looking into the fact that there was South African advances energy reform with a new transmission company launch. This is a report by the IOL Business News. This comes after Eskom took another step forward to its out turnaround plan. As you all know, that we have now days within, the year without load shedding, and someone somewhere out there might be asking themselves, how are we doing this? Because there were days where and weeks where we couldn't even handle just a few 4 hours of electricity as a country within certain areas. But however, with their transformation, they says that Eskom says that they have proposed splitting Eskom into 3 companies focused on generation, transmission, and distribution. So the other one will be focusing on the generation of the electricity. The other one, how are we transmitting it from different households? And the other one will be also on the distribution of the electricity amongst that. That the launch yesterday comes after 3 months after the 1st of July 2024, when the electricity minister stated out that this national transmission company is going to be launched as going to be an independent, as only wholly owned by subsidiaries from the Eskom holdings. Right? I don't know, Toli, do you think this is a great direction or a great step into, dealing with the electricity issues that our country is facing?
We'll see into it, Kagiso, but I think the management at Eskom currently, they've pulled up their socks. I think there's a bit of a difference. So I have hope on this. Because we've had a lot of ups and downs with Eskom, and it hasn't been nice at all. It hasn't been nice at all. But I think the management is starting to pull up its socks, because the community of South Africa they've just had it. We just tired. It's been too much. So I do have hope on this, but obviously we'll see when it's implemented. The most important thing is implementation and seeing what's being implemented working. So we'll see. For now, we'll just say, we'll see. Let's wait and see how it works. But I have hope. Looking at how things are going so far and the rate of load shedding, I really have hope. I really have
definitely
hope.
On my side, I also have hope to seeing that there has been progress, and especially now that there has been clarification on who the minister is, because I think somehow there was a lot of confusion when Gwede Mantashe was all part of that energy, petroleum, and all that. There was a huge confusion. But however, the chairperson of the National Transmission Company says that, who is Priscilla Mabelane, says that yesterday presented the company's strategic vision for sustainable energy access and also to support inclusion within the economic growth, because we are also looking at also the tariff hikes that we are seeing there. How are they going to affect us as local people who are using this electricity on a day-to-day basis? So definitely the Department of Electricity and Energy is looking forward into making sure that there is better service quality when it comes to electricity. Right now, let's take a quick look at how the markets and how the JSE closed off this afternoon. As we all know, that it closed off at a very red, which is a danger territory. As we all know, that the points that were there saw a different shifting when it comes to some of the points that were sent out there. Looking at the commodities there, or rather the currencies, the rand was 17 rand 59 cents against the US dollar, and it was 19 rand 30 cents against the euro, and it was 23 rand 2 cents against the pound sterling, taking a drop of 1.2% there against the pound sterling, and a drop of minus 1.0% against the US dollar there, showing a very significant drop within there. The JSE All Share Index closed off at 85,491.22 cents points today, marking a decline of 0.95%. The market showed a velocity of different ranges within this. Definitely the market performance showed its performance rightly upon the economic changes and also all the factors that we are seeing contributing rather to all the economic factors that we are seeing within our country. Right, that's all that we have in the financial indicators, and an update on all that you need to be looking forward to, especially when it comes to the financial indicators and behind the headlines. Right, more news, breaking news, and fresh views in the lead.